All right. All that one person that actually eventually goes back and watches the video, even though that they're not in class. Um, let's start with the new opening. Okay. So, ba da ba ba ba. No, no. Okay, I figured I'd at least try something else. So, class.
Yes.
Thank you. All right. So, derivative inverse trigonometric function for arcsecant. Arcsecant. So y prime is equal to d dx. So the derivative of, in terms of x, secant, so inverse secant of x is going to be 1 over x times the quantity of the square root, x squared minus 1, where x, absolute value of x, has to be greater than 1. Why is that? I have some restrictions here. Why is it? Absolute value has to be greater than 1.
Because the square root in the denominator.
Okay, so can it be 1?
No.
It cannot be 1 because 1 minus 1 is
0.
And can I have 0 in the denominator?
No.
I cannot have 0 in the denominator. So that is a restriction on my domain. So it has to be greater than. So, but it says absolute value there. So can I have negative 2 in there? Yes. Why?
Absolute value. Negative. Absolute value. Negative.
No, look at my problem. Look at my problem. Can I have negative 2 over here?
Yeah, because then you get a positive.
I'm always going to get a positive because that's square. This is a rule saying, and I'm trying to explain why that rule is in place. So I could have negative 2 because can I have negatives inside the radical? No, because that's a square root, isn't it? I cannot have negatives inside the square root because that's going to be imaginary, non-real answers. I'm not dealing with that. So I'm only dealing with this part right here, and so you got to be careful with what we're plugging in for these things. And here is the full list of all 6.
Get to remember all that.
Huh?
Get to remember all that.
I highly recommend it. Because the 3 that we didn't do, so for our cosecant, it's a negative right here, which if I look at the secant, okay, there's no negative here. X squared minus 1 inside, x squared minus 1 inside. So our cosecant has a negative out front. Cotangent has a negative out front of the tangent.
So just negative.
Cosine, there is a negative out front of this. So when I said memorizing it, we only had to go over 3 of them, right? And then the corresponding one that goes along with it is going to be, just negative. Sine and cosines are cofunctions of each other. So since those are cofunctions, because if you remember, think of a right triangle. A right triangle. The 2 angles together have to add up, the other 2 angles have to add up to 90. The 2 angles, right? Because all 3 angles in a triangle add up to 180. But a right triangle already has a 90 already. Okay? So if I go way back in the day and I say that some old hippie caught another hippie tripping on acid, or as you guys remember it, SOHCAHTOA, okay, opposite, adjacent, all those, the 2 angles would be the different sides. We could look at that same triangle and say the cosine of this angle would be down here, the sine of the angle would be up here. So they are cofunctions of each other. Cotangent goes with tangent, cosecant goes with secant. So anyway, and that's it. So you guys feel okay? All right, so we have plenty of time here today, so let's try and get this homework knocked out. I need to change the due date. So due date will be tomorrow, and Make sure you all like, share, and subscribe. Buy stuff for the merch store. No one's buying stuff from my merch store.